I've been a really big fan of what he stood for, what he was about, his ethic, his morals. You know, I'd read his Geraldry letter quite a few times, and just how passionate he was in there, and so definite and precise, and how sure he was about his cause. I had an idea in my head. I read up on him. I've looked into his eyes, into that portrait. There's a portrait of him 2 days before he's hung, and it's all in his eyes. He's very dignified. He's very proud, and that was enough. Just looking in his eyes was enough. And so I just took that and just trust my own instinct and went for it, and kind of closed off the fact that there's all these people that are interested, and that there are all these pressures to live up to his story. It's been a dream, I tell you, working back in Australia. The last time I worked here was with Gregor on Two Hands, and so it really has. It's been so nice to come back. It's been the first 4 or 5 months I've spent here in about 6 years, and it's just been nice. You come back and you're reminded that you're Australian, and that you're working with Australians, and all of a sudden it's just everything's so much easier. You know, people get your jokes, and you are a part of one mass of people, and I do feel very much Australian, and it was good to replant my roots. I'll certainly take a piece of Ned with me. He's certainly going to be carried around inside my heart and mind for a long time. And the family, and just what he stood for, and it's given me the courage to stand up and be true to what I believe in.
I met up with Gregor in LA, and we sat down and had a drink and had a talk about the project. And at that stage, I knew nothing about Ned Kelly. I didn't know the story. I know it's a very big story over here, but it hadn't sort of come into my consciousness at all. So he just sort of described it as a bunch of young guys riding around on horses, shooting guns, sort of tearing up the town and generally kind of causing havoc, but kind of for a purpose, kind of because they feel they're kind of hard done by, because they feel like they're being persecuted unjustly, and that sort of, to me, sounded like something to be involved in. I think the themes of the story, camaraderie, loyalty, friendship, and standing up for what you believe in, are all themes that, an audience can relate to. Oh, he's great. He's doing a fantastic job. He's totally transformed, I think. I'd met Heath once before in LA, and he's a really sweet guy. He's just a cool guy, and he's totally taken Ned and made him his own, and made him. He looks like Ned, he looks so like Ned, and he's found all these subtle nuances to the character, and he's making him play very interestingly.
Of course, it's very Australian, and it's very much about this country in that day. But I think it's timeless. It will connect with people in different, in a different period, in a different place. There's lots of these kind of stories all over the world in different times. And that's what makes it so human. And I think people will connect with it.